Build up for like 5 minutes, like 2 3 minutes or so. Hey, shalom, shalom. Y'all about to with them. We're gonna start in like 2 minutes. If you could just type your questions, if you got any questions, just type it in, Bobby. Sure. What's going on, Shabal? Let's see. 1 second. Hey, Nazak, are we up on YouTube? I don't look like we up on YouTube. Which one? No, I'm on that one. Oh, it's live. That's why it's not on there. Hold on 1 second. Where can I find it? That's on YouTube? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Okay, solid. Can you make the screen bigger? Like, why is it like halfway? You know what I mean? We're gonna start in 1 minute. Can you make the screen bigger? Like, why is it like halfway? You know what I mean? You see how it looks? Maybe that's how I want to put it or something. Oh, swear. All right, don't worry about it. All right, let's get it. All right, clap it up. Thursday scripture breakdown class. Capital Dohar. Go over a few things today for sure. We're gonna go over Daniel's vision, Daniel the second chapter, Daniel the seventh chapter as well. We'll go break down some history. We're going to a couple of we're going to the vision, break down the vision of Daniel. Got a couple of questions. We're going to World War III. I have some questions on World War III. We'll get into some World War III precepts. We'll also get into at the end of class. We'll get into part two of the mind control. We didn't finish last week. All right. Any other questions that we have? All right. Before I start the class, y'all have any questions y'all want to answer? Go ahead. Let me know. Is there a mic that you need? Okay, solid. Let's get it. No sweat. If you got any questions, young man? No sweat. Mm-hmm. When Christ was speaking to Moses and Elijah, right? And Matthew? Yeah, that's definitely a vision. Let me hear it though. Let Nazar get it. What's it? What's the book?
Matthew 17.
Let's go to Matthew 17. 17 and 15. Go ahead, you got the door. Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire.
And put on that table right there. One more time.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire.
God, that's not what he wanted. Let me see. Let's wait till we're ready. Hey, shalom, sis. You got it? No, I'm good, sis. Can't find it, just let me know. Just come back to it. You got it? All right, go ahead.
That's the book of Luke, chapter 9, and verse 28.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass about in 8 days after these sayings, he took Peter and John and James and went up into a mountain to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered, and his raiment was white and glistering.
What chapter and verse?
That's Luke chapter 9 and verse 28.
Okay, go ahead.
And behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Elias,
Mm-hmm.
who appeared in glory, and spake of his decease, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
But Peter and they that were with him were heavy with sleep, and when they were awake, they saw his glory, and the 2 men that stood with him. And it came to pass, as they departed from him, Peter said unto Yahushua, Master, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses,
Mm-hmm.
and one for Elias, not knowing what he said.
Right. This is a vision. So now, of course, it goes on to say that we should make 1 tabernacle, right? Right, because only 1 man's in charge. 3 men can't be in charge. Only 1 man has to be in charge. You understand, right? So this is not physical. This is that. What gives it away that it wasn't a dream? I mean, that it wasn't real. Go ahead.
Because Moses and Elias are dead.
There you go. That's it. That's all you need. You know what I mean? So what they seen was a vision. Was them. Also, it said they was heavy with sleep. You get what I'm saying? When you heavy with sleep, sometimes you see things, but that's what they seen was real, though. You understand? Solid. Any other questions? Sis, you got any questions? All right, no sweat. Let's get to it then, right? Let me get some World War III precepts real quick for the brother. Brother about to do a lecture. Let me see. Let's go to Joel. Let's get Revelation 11 and 14.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past,
Mm-hmm.
and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Perfect. That's it. That's all you need. Of course, it's talking about what? Young man. World War III, right? How there's 2 wars that already came, World War I and World War II. And World War III is on its way. That's what the breakdown says, right? The third woe comes quickly. What does woe mean? Go ahead. Death or destruction, correct, right? So death and destruction. That's definitely one precept you want to pull. Give me Joel 3 and 9 through 12 real quick. This is another precept that we pull to show the prophecy of the World War III and what's going to happen during those times, right? And then, young man, cue up Isaiah 13 and 14.
The book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
Go ahead. Proclaim these amongst the Gentiles. When we go to camp and we speak in Hollywood or downtown, who's at the camp? Who's at the camp? Go ahead.
Let's say sticking to the precept, Gentiles.
There you go.
heathens.
There you go. Gentiles, heathen, and Israelites, right? So you got them all. But we speaking it, we proclaiming it to the Gentiles. Go ahead.
Prepare war.
Prepare what?
Prepare war.
Prepare war. Go ahead.
Wake up the mighty men.
Wake up the mighty men. Keep going.
Let all the men of war draw near.
Mm-hmm.
Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears.
There you go, right? So he's telling you take the stuff that you use to work with in the field and make them weapons, right? Make them weapons. Go ahead.
Let the weak say, I am strong.
Mm-hmm.
Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen.
All you what?
All ye heathen.
Go ahead.
And gather yourselves together round about.
Right. There's going to be a time, and we're stepping into World War III right now. There's going to be a time where a cat that is not in the military is going to have to drop what he's doing and being an engineer and go to war. You understand? He's going to be a cat that works in a factory, and he's going to stop working in a factory, and he's going to go to war. You understand, right? This is what this scripture is talking about. It says, drop all these things, man. Turn that plow that you got, turn it into a sword. Turn that, what did it say, that hook, that pruning hook, and turn it into a spear. You know what I mean? He said, let the weak men say I'm strong, and let them draw near, let them come. Go ahead.
Round about thither cause thy mighty ones to come down.
Mm-hmm.
O Lord, let the heathen be wakened.
What verse you at?
Verse 12.
Verse 12. Go ahead.
Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
No sweat. Tell her brother to go in the front, whoever that is. Pick it up, young man.
The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fat overflow, for their wickedness is great.
What verse you at?
Verse 14.
All right, no sweat. You can drop that. So now, take me to, what you got? Isaiah?
13 and 14.
Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall be as the chaste roe. And as
Wait, where you at?
Isaiah 13 and 14.
Okay, one from the top.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
And it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up.
Mm-hmm.
They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land.
You understand that, right? Every man is going to turn to his people. He's going to turn from what they're doing, what they're doing in America or other place, and he's going to turn to his own. He's going to go back to his own people. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Every one that is found shall be thrust through,
Mm-hmm.
and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Y'all understand, right? Keep going.
Verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces.
One more time from the
before their
top.
eyes. Verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
They said their children also shall be dashed in pieces before their eyes. This is what you'll see. This is a precept where you're going to pull. I'll pull this in a second too. This is the time of the end times for sure, and what you'll see in war, right? Go ahead.
Their houses shall be spoiled,
Their houses shall be spoiled. Go ahead.
and their wives ravished.
And their wives ravished. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them,
Mm-hmm.
which shall not regard silver.
You can stop right there. So this scripture is talking about what? What's going to happen to these people? What's going to happen to these people is what? You know what I mean? They're gonna get what? Ravished. These women is gonna get raped during these times, man. There's gonna be a time where women, listen, there's women right now, they don't want a certain man in their crib. But then when these little rape mobs start coming around and trying to rape women, you see it in movies all the time. Like in New Orleans, right? In New Orleans. Hey, Shalom, man. In New Orleans, when Katrina happened, you know what they started to do? Anybody know? When they ran out of food and they ran out of water, what they started to do? No one else? Katrina, go ahead. Cannibal? No, not cannibals. Not cannibals. No. They started becoming cannibals. What's going on now? Shalom, yo, good to see you, right? No, they started to rape. Yes, these brothers was out here raping. You would think that they would start maybe want to steal some drink and some food or something. They started raping women. It's something about being poor or being in a horrible situation that make you just want to rape And that's what they started doing. They started raping and during in New Orleans during the Katrina. It was wild, right? So now, of course, now you would want a strong man in your house at that time. You know what I mean. A lot of women that say that what they don't want a certain man around. They don't want this cat because he's a deadbeat. He doesn't have a job. He has no money. He has a multiple another wife or whatever. She ain't gonna give a damn about it then. She gonna want this brother in the crib protecting her home so she doesn't get raped. Y'all understand, right? You could drop that out. Give me Jeremiah 50:3. God. Go ahead. Give me Jeremiah 50:3.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 3.
Y'all for the brother some strong. You want some strong at? You hooked that brother up? Go ahead, Jeremiah 50:3.
For out of the north thee cometh up a nation against her, which shall make the land desolate.
Right. So out of the north there come up a nation against her that shall make this land desolate. What is that? What is that place in the north? Go ahead. Russia. Okay. Russia would be a good answer, not in this context though. But what else? What other countries in the north? In the north. Go ahead.
North to the U.S.
You said what?
Like north to the U.S.
Yeah. Okay. The U.S. would be an answer, but think about hundreds of years ago. Go ahead.
Is it like the tribe of Issachar?
No. This is a heathen nation. Russia is north, but not in this sense, not in this precept, right? Because there's another north too that was before this time. I'll give it to you, and we're gonna go over it later too. Babylonian captivity, the Babylonians, right? They were north like hundreds of thousands of years ago now, but that was the original north in the Bible, which you also would be America today. You get what I'm saying? Because America takes on the same doctrines as the Babylons, right? Keep going.
And none shall dwell therein. They shall remove. They shall depart, both man and beast. Verse 4.
That's good on that. Give me Ezekiel 38:2. Ezekiel 38:2. And then if you could, not this out, give me Isaiah 2:4. And then I'm gonna just run the rest of these precepts down for the brother, and then we're gonna get into the next one. It's a lot of precepts on here.
The book of Ezekiel.
If y'all have any questions online, just type your questions in. Go ahead.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog.
Right. So now, who is Gog? You just said it. Go ahead. Russia, right. And who's Magog? No sweat. Magog will be Russia's allies. You understand? So when you hear Gog and Magog, that's why it's such an important step in history when you hear Russia going to war. Because Russia going to war is what the Bible says is going to happen. Right? Can you read it from the top?
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 2.
Of course, this is a World III topic, so this is what you hear. Go ahead.
Son of man, set thy face against Gog.
Right. Set thy face against God. Go ahead.
The land of Magog.
Mm-hmm.
The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Go ahead.
And prophesy against him.
The chief prince of who?
The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Those are their fathers. Those are the, like, you know, you go in history and you find out where these people come from. Those are the fathers right there. Go ahead.
And prophesy against him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws.
So when you hear this part, right, I'm gonna turn thee back and put hooks into these jaws. There was a time in the 80s and early 90s. You ever heard of that clock they had? It was like ticking to see when World III was gonna come. This when the Russia and America was at it, like it was tense. It was real tense, and it was close to going to war. I remember Cuba had missiles. They supposedly had missiles pointing at America because they was working on Russia. I don't know if y'all remember or y'all remember this in history, but this was going on, right? So all this was happening. Then it ceased. Then it was cold. Then they became not allies, but they killed the war talk, right? They killed the war talk. But the Lord said that He was going to turn them back. That's what the scripture is talking about. When you talk about putting a hook in his mouth and turning him back, just think about a fish that is swimming for peace or swimming away from death, right? He's swimming away from death. But then this hook gets put in his mouth and turns him back to death. to war. You understand? Right? Read that part again.
And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws,
Mm-hmm.
and I will bring thee forth.
And I will bring thee what?
And I will bring thee forth.
Go ahead.
And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor.
Con, you can drop it right there. That's what you want to need, is showing how they will come back to war. And what you're seeing right now with Ukraine is definitely a step to it. All right. Let me see. Let me get. Okay. I'm gonna just run these down. You can put these in your notes. All right. Isaiah 2 and 4, Matthew 24 and 6, Psalms 49 and 67, Job 20 and 10, Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. Let me get Isaiah 52 and 3. But it's definitely good preachers to put in your topics if you need them, right? Isaiah 52 and 3. And then not just like you can give me Ezekiel 28 and 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 3. Mm-hmm. For thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. Verse 4.
Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord God, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause.
Right. And that's why you have to go to war. Right? You're reading this precept about how you wanted to go chill. You wanted to go, you didn't served a horrible captivity in Egypt. And you thought you can go live in this place now because the captivity was over. But hell nah, some other people that knew that you were God's chosen people start to oppress you as well. Like the Lord is looking at these cats like, man, they need to die, man. They need to get this. They need to feel this pain and feel this suffering that they did to you. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, can you answer this? I score. They need to feel this pain and this suffering that they did to you. So the Lord is looking at it like, you know what I mean? Like they need to get God, right? We need to go to war. Keep reading.
Verse 5. Now therefore, what have I here, saith the Lord, that my people is taken away for naught. They that rule over them make them to howl, saith the Lord, and my name continually every day is blasphemed.
Solid. You can drop that. What the brother say?
He should say something.
No sweat. All right, no, you can drop that. Give me Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28 and 16, Psalms 52 and 1, and Isaiah 23 and 6, and then we'll move on to the next topic, all right?
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 28 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering shrub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
Keep going.
Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness.
Right. So now, this is talking about America. Anytime you see brightness or beauty, because that's what people think. They think about America as glitz and glamour, right? Because of their country doesn't provide the freedom that they're allowed here. You understand, right? It looks good. It looks good, but really, in whatever religion you're in, which all religion is false, but that religion was protecting you from certain freedoms. You understand, right? This place allows you to exercise all your freedoms and all your fleshly lust that you want to do. So this place is glitz and glamour and beauty. And it said that the coming of that brightness part, right? In Isaiah 14 chapter, it talks about the coming of thy brightness. It talks about the Satan, that brightness thing, right? Read that part again.
Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness.
Right. You have corrupted wisdom by reason of your brightness. What does that brightness mean? What is that brightness? What is, when you see brightness, what is that? What does that mean? Read that line one more time. You have corrupted
thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness.
Read little bit above.
Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness.
What does that mean, that brightness? Go ahead.
Like of their, like what they learn as far as like the wickedness.
I mean, yes, but what does brightness do? What does brightness bring? Like what? It's like, how do I say this? When you think about brightness, what do you think? Go ahead, sis. Exposure.
Exposes, like it exposes what was in the dark.
I'll get that to you. It's more like shine. the shine, right? The shine that they come with, right? It's like you see someone shining. You see someone shining, that's what you would think. Tazdak, that's like it. God damn it. Tazan, it's like it. There you go. Exactly. The water. Like the brother said it right. When you shining, like this is a cat like wears a whole bunch of jewelry. He's shining, right? He's shining. Sometimes a cat will wear no jewelry and his spirit is just shining. You get what I'm saying? But America is shining because of what though? Not because of the good, because of the evil. You get what I mean? Because of the evil. You can some woman that is in a country who kill a woman if she shows her leg. She come out here and wear a skirt and a hijab and have no problem. You understand? And flip flops. In her country, she knows she couldn't do that, but she comes here and be's a halfway Muslim. She's allowed to do that here. You get what I'm saying? And in America, you have to accept her. You have to accept her. You're like homosexuals. You can't be a homosexual in so many countries in the Middle East, and you can't be homosexuals in, but you can come here and be a homosexual. No problem. And you have a whole month dedicated to your homosexuality. Yeah, I mean, really, they say a month, but you got this country is built on giving you the freedom. You know what I'm saying? And being diverse and allowing you to what get any job that you please. Because if you don't hire me, you're not hiring me because you're prejudiced against homosexuals. You understand, right? So I mean, this place has that, when their place doesn't have that, right? You got any more on that? Go ahead.
I will cast thee to the ground.
Mm-hmm. And now this is the Lord saying He's gonna cast this place to the ground. Like this place. You ever heard of that place? Oh man, John Muhammad said it. Chernobyl, right? Chernobyl. This is a place where, huh? Yeah, that's okay. He mentioned it today. It's a Chernobyl's in I think the Ukraine or something, right? Yeah, I believe it's in Ukraine, but it's a place where you can't live because of um, what's that called? Thermonuclear. The what's that called? What's that called? Where it happened in Japan and Nagasaki and all that, right? Go ahead. Yeah, but it's the radiation, the water. The radiation allows you can't live in that place. They got to go there. You remember see that? You ever seen the show Chernobyl? It's a show on HBO where they go in there with like damn near radiation suits and they go and see what is alive or what they can find there because people can't live there. You'll die. You get what I'm saying? You have a defect or a birth defect even if you breathe this stuff. That's what America is gonna be. You understand, right? So after 1,000 years or after a time period, you're gonna be able to come back and live in America, in our kingdom, but not now. You understand? That's what this place is gonna be. When the Lord says He's gonna bring it down, that's what He means. Any more?
I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee.
You can drop it right there. That's too high. What was that? Psalms 52? Yeah. And then let me get Isaiah 23 and 6 and we can move on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 52 and verse 1. To the chief musician, Michelle.
I'll take it. Go ahead.
A psalm of David. When Doeg, the Edomite, came and told Saul.
Doeg, man. Doeg, you read about this cat, Doeg, right? Doeg was a cat that was hired by an Israelite to go and kill Israelites. You understand? I forget the king's name, but Doeg was an evil Edomite. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
When Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul and said unto him,
Saul, I forgot he worked for Saul. Go ahead.
David is come to the house of Ahimelech. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? Thy goodness of God endureth continually. Verse 2. Thy tongue devises mischief like a sharp razor, working deceitfully. Verse 3.
Right, because Doeg, what did Doeg do? I mean, if y'all don't know him, Doeg lied. You understand? He wanted to kill him so bad that he lied on him. You get what I mean? And that's what that's what this place does to you. Everywhere you go, you're marked. You're a curse. Like your skin shows you're cursed. You get what I'm saying? Well, you wonder why we call ourselves black, right? Black, right? Black people are what? You're not actually black. You're brown. Hispanic people aren't black. They're brown. Right or wrong? What does the black represent? That's how I think I said it already. What's the black represent? Go ahead.
It's like your condition.
Your condition, right? Meaning what? You are You are cursed. It's the curse, right? That's when you're black, you're cursed. Anywhere you go, you're cursed. You can there's people that in the military right now in Japan and they're cursed. You get what I'm saying? There's black people in the Philippines and they're cursed. You know what I mean? There's cats in, you could think of anywhere place in the world, but you're cursed wherever you go. You understand? And that's what you are. And the white man has cursed you even from the beginning, even during the times of David, that he has cursed you. Even the time, even a little more than that. In Genesis, he's cursed you. You understand? Let me get that last precept.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 23 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
Pass ye over to Tarshish. How ye inhabitants of the Isle, is this your joyous city,
Mm-hmm.
whose antiquity is of ancient days? Her own feet shall carry her afar off to sojourn.
Go ahead.
Who have taken this counsel against Tyre.
Go ahead. Tyre is, anybody know what Tyre is? Tyre is Africans, right? It was a shipping port in Africa. Tyre and Zidon. That's two famous shipping ports. Go ahead.
The crowning city, whose merchants are princes,
Mm-hmm.
whose traffickers are the honorable of the earth.
And when they say traffickers, think about actual human trafficking, because that's what they did to you. They sold you on these ports. You know what I mean? Along with, wine and dough and coins and all these things, right? These shipping ports were famous and they made so much money because who was getting sold there? You. You understand? Go ahead.
The Lord of hosts hath purposed it,
Mm-hmm.
to stain the pride of all glory.
You good to go on that, right? So the point is what? All these people have to die. They have to do it. War is imminent. As a white man says in one of his movies, war is imminent and inevitable. It's going to happen because the Lord, how do you go conquer people? It's through war. You understand? And we'll get into that in Daniel's vision as well, all right? We good to go on that. Let me get a couple of questions I had to ask for brothers. Give me Psalms 90 and 10. Psalms 90 and 10, real quick. We're moving on from that World War III topic. Any questions off the topic? Solid. Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 90 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
The days of our years are 80 years and 10.
Right. Go ahead.
And if by reason of strength they be 80 years,
Mm-hmm.
yet is their strength labor and sorrow.
This is Psalm 90 and 10, right? What you hear right there? Read it one more time.
The book of Psalms, chapter 90 and verse 10.
Uh-huh.
The days of our years are 80 years and 10.
Right. The meaning this, man, our days are cut short. You understand? Our days are numbered. With you black and Hispanic and Native Indian, that is just what it is. Why are our days numbered? Because we're cursed. You understand? When you think about black people dying, Hispanic people dying, why is it sad? Why is it sad when black and Hispanic people die? Think about it. Go ahead.
Is it because the way we die?
There you go. It's the way you die. Because death, everyone dies. You understand? Everyone is gonna die, but it's the way you die. And the death it comes from tragedy. You get what I mean? Like this cat died because he had a horrible health issue. This cat died. These children just died in Uverdale and getting shot. Right? Like it's a tragedy. Black people die. Gun violence all the time. It's a tragedy. It's young. That's why it says 37 years. Some cats don't even see 30. You get what I'm saying? And he said, and then the scripture said, by reason of strength, they might reach 40. If you look at the average age of a black man dying, I believe it's like 61 or 56 or something like that. Something low. You get what I'm saying? Well, 50, I think 55 is where you're still strong. You're not as strong as you once were, but you're strong. You're still strong. You get what I'm saying? But it's horrible the way you die, right? Keep going.
And if by reason of strength they be 80 years,
Mm-hmm.
yet is their strength labor and sorrow.
You know what I mean? And in their strength, they're still laboring and they're still sad. You get what I'm saying? They're still depressed. They're still in the state. Like, let me just get this precept real quick. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 23. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 23. Before I jump ahead on this, all right? got it? It's in the Apocrypha. 2 and 23. Go ahead.
The wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
For God created man to be immortal.
God created the man to be what?
To be immortal.
Go ahead.
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
Right. So when you think about the word immortal, what word comes to mind? It's a biblical word you should use when you think about immortal. Sis. Not moral. What does it mean to be immoral? Yeah, immoral. No, like immortality. Yeah. You can look it up. Look it up. What does it mean to be immortal? Go ahead. Can't die. Exactly. So what biblical word should come to mind? Go ahead. Yeah. Well, it's really like not human. Go ahead. Not resurrection. Just look it up. What's the immortal mean? What does immortal mean? And you'll know what the biblical word that should come to mind. I'll give it to you. Everlasting, right? Everlasting. You heard that word before, right? Everlasting. That's a word that should come to your mind when you hear immortal. Everlasting, right? So now the scripture says what? Read it one more time.
The wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
For God created man to be immortal.
God created man to be immortal. Go ahead.
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
And the Lord said he made him to be an image for his own eternity. Any more? Keep reading.
Verse 24. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world. So now you could go to Genesis 1 and 26. When he says he made him, read that part when it says he made the image. Read that part again. No swear. You got Genesis 1 and 26? Go ahead. Where he says he made him in the image.
For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity.
Right, he made him to be an image in his own eternity. What does it mean that he made him to be an image in his own eternity? It says, yeah, he made him to live forever. He made him to live forever. Go ahead.
So that kind of supports the reincarnation.
Okay, no, not in that sense. I'm gonna break it down in a second. Go ahead.
It's like in Genesis when he says he made us to be, make them to be in our image.
How do you be in the Lord's image?
Is that like by being in zeal? Okay.
Meaning what?
Like following his zeal. Like
The Lord's zeal? There you go, the laws. That's what you want to say.
Okay.
How do you be in the Lord's image? By following the laws. Because that's why he made you. He made you to be in his image. And what's another word for image? He made you to be in his, go ahead. Yeah, that's a good one. That's not what I'm looking for, but I'll take it. He made you to be in his reputation. His image is going to be his reputation. So you have to have his reputation on earth. You understand? And to be in his image is to keep the laws of God. Of course, that's why the Lord said, man shall not always strive in my spirit. I'm paraphrasing. You understand? So give me Genesis 1 and 26.
The book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And God said, let us make man in our image.
Let us make man in our image. Go ahead.
After our likeness.
After our likeness. Go ahead.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea.
And what does it mean when he says you're going to have dominion over the fish of the sea? What does that mean? Go ahead. How are you going to rule over them? You're going to tell the fish to, come to class? So how you going to rule over the fish? Go ahead. No, just think about it. How do you rule a fish? Go ahead, sis. That's it. That's how you rule a fish. How you rule a fish is picking them out and saying, I'm gonna eat this one and I'm not gonna eat this one. You understand? That's how you rule them. How you rule the fowl of the air by shooting this one down and eating them, and not shooting that one down. You understand? That's how you rule them. That's how you rule the fish or the fowl. The scripture's gonna say fowl, right? Go ahead.
After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air,
Solid. Go ahead.
and over the cattle.
And over the cattle, same thing. How you gonna rule over the cattle? You're gonna see what cattle is good to eat and what cattle you shouldn't eat. You understand? Go ahead.
And over all the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Keep going.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him.
Do you understand? In the image of God created he him. So he created us to be in his image. What was his image? Keep the laws of what he says. Obey him. Obey him, and then you'll be good. Of course, we broke that, right? We broke that. Let me get 2 Timothy 1 and 10. 2 Timothy 1 and 10. I'm gonna show you a precept where Paul said he conquered death. I believe he conquered death. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 1, verse 10.
This is going into the immortality. Stay with me on that, all right? Immortality and all that. Go ahead.
But is now made manifest by the appearing of our Savior, Jesus Christ.
What was made manifest? Go ahead.
The law,
The law was made manifest. That's true. But what else was made manifest? Read a little more.
who hath abolished death, and hath brought life and immortality to light through the gospel.
How did he abolish death? If we all die, how did Christ abolish death? Go ahead.
By dying for our sins.
Absolutely. So how did he die? What was Christ's death like? Sis.
It was a physical death,
A physical death is correct, but
but it wasn't a spiritual.
no, it wasn't a spiritual death. But how did he die? Not as that.
Horribly.
Like a
Like
like a no swear, sis.
Like a black brother and sister?
Yes, but like a
A curse?
like a cursed person, right? Like a sinner. That's how he died. Christ died like a sinner when he didn't have to die like a sinner. How did he abolish death? So now read that part again. How did Christ abolish death? By dying like a sinner. So we don't have to die like sinners. You understand? Y'all get that, right? And now, if you're going to live the life of what Christ said to live like, you can't live your life like a sinner. So you don't have to die like a sinner. Instead, you can die like a man in the truth or a woman in the truth. You get what I'm saying? You can die with no pain, no sadness, maybe old in age. It's sad any one time someone dies, but anyone crying over someone that's 80 years old and dying. You think about someone that had a good life, a long life, 90 years old. It's sad because you're going to miss them. You remember the good times, but it's not a tragedy. You get what I'm saying? Black people dying at a young age, Hispanic people dying at a young age. That's a tragedy. That's sad. That's how sinners die. So it'd be sad, right? But the Lord said he abolished death, meaning he abolished a horrible way of dying by him dying like a sinner when he was not a sinner. You understand? Remember, who did Christ die with? If y'all remember the story of Christ, go ahead.
Two other sins.
Two sinners, which they in the scripture they call malefactors, which was people are criminals. You understand? So he died with a thief and a murderer, but he was not none of those. You understand? And that's how he abolished death, right? So now read the rest of that.
Who hath abolished death, and brought life and immortality to light through the gospel.
So now, how can you be immortal? You can be immortal by living a righteous life, having children, having your children be the heir to your throne or the heir to your family, and you coming back through that same family and sitting on that throne once again. You understand, right? That's immortality. That's what the scripture is talking about. All right. So now, and let me get 1 Corinthians 15 and 55. This is a precept to show what Paul, just to give you more example what Paul's saying about death, right? Give me 1 Corinthians 15 and 55 through 57.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 55. O death, where is thy sting?
Right. Read that again.
O death, where is thy sting?
When he says that, he says, "Oh death, where is thy sting?" Because death is supposed to hurt. You understand? Death is supposed to hurt, but he's saying, "Oh death, where is thy sting?" because it's not hurting. You understand? It's not hurting no more because who did hurt? Christ hurt it for that. You know what I mean? Keep going.
O grave, where is thy victory?
Mm-hmm.
The sting of death is sin.
The sting of death is sin. Because when you die a horrible death, is because you're a sinner. You understand? Keep going.
And the strength of sin is the law.
And the strength of sin is the law. Meaning what? If I want strength, I would have to stop being a sinner. I got to keep the law. Keep going.
But thanks be to God, which giveth us victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren.
So like that's it right there. Y'all understand, right? We thanks be to the Most High in Christ that He gave us the victory through His Son. His Son had to taste the sting of death for us, so we wouldn't have to, and we have a chance to be immortal. Y'all understand? Solid. All right, good to go. We can move on from that. All right. Any questions on the topic? I'm about to go into this. This is a heavy breakdown I'm about to go into, but just stick with me. I'm gonna give you all the notes for it and everything. All right. Let me get these two precepts real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Brother asks, you're gonna have. Can I get some precepts for Christians going crazy during the end times? Right, during the end time, meaning the end of the world. Right. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 28. We already pulled Isaiah 13 and you want to get Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Put this in your notes too. Isaiah 13 and 16, and then also give me 1 Timothy 3 and 1, which should be it says, "Parallel time shall come." You know what I'm talking about? Nazar? Give me that one. Young man, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
That's what's gonna happen. The Lord is gonna smite you with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Like you think about how Black and Hispanics live today. Like, just think about it, right? Everything you do is crazy. Everything, like you don't understand it because you live a certain life and it's kind of normal, but it's not really normal to people outside of your race. You get what I'm saying? It's not really normal. Just think about bills. Think about bills you have. Thinking about waking up and going to work every day. Thinking about tragedy in your family, your own personal issues. Think about your childhood trauma, right? And then you just think about the things around you, the things in your community, the things that are happening to people around you. It's enough to make you mad. That's what Scripture said. You know what I'm saying? It's enough to make you mad. To be mad is to go crazy. Like you ever heard of old Quaker English? It's like he's mad. It's not like he's angry. It's because he's crazy. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said He's gonna give you madness. You know what I mean? Keep going.
Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday. The blind gropeth in darkness.
Man, you're gonna grope at noonday. To grope, and what does it mean to grope? Go ahead.
Like feel.
To feel what?
Like in the sense of a blind man?
Yeah.
Nothing. Or what's
If a blind man can't see, and you can't see, what does it mean to grope? Just look it up. Look up grope. Look up grope. Grope. Is that how it's spelled, right? Go ahead.
the Merriam-Webster definition of grope?
Uh-huh.
To feel about blindly or uncertainly in search.
Mm-hmm.
To look for something blindly or uncertainly.
Right. You're good. That's how your life is. That's how your life is. To not to be certain about anything. You get what I'm saying? You create all these things in your head of what you gotta do, and you're trying to plan these things out. And plans never go their way. You ever had plans and they actually go the way you want them to go? I mean, I have, and I was surprised. It's just like, wow, everything went smooth. That's not how it usually goes, though. It never goes smooth. But when it actually goes smooth, it's actually shocking. But it shows you how much you don't have control. You get what I'm saying? You don't have control. You don't have control over everything. You really don't. You think you do. You think you can be somewhere at a certain time, but you don't have control over traffic. You get what I'm saying? You think you can get something done at a certain time, but you don't know what's gonna happen before you get it done. You ever heard of procrastination, right? You're putting things off. Procrastination is really something happening that you didn't expect to happen. And now you can't do the thing that's supposed to get done. You understand? That's why it's good when you got to do something just to get it done. Because one day you put it off, now you got stuff stacking up upon each other, and you'll never get to the thing that you're supposed to do because you don't control it. And that's the problem. When you're a control freak, you get jammed up. You understand? Don't try to control the things you can't control. Just control the things you can control. And that'll help you out in life. All right. Or unless you will have madness. You go crazy. You know what I mean? You'll pay a bill going to Passover, and at the same time you pay that bill, that flight, something happens to your car. You get what I'm saying? Or you get jammed up this way. Some family member needs this, or your child needs that. Some things just happen. You understand? Go ahead. Give me Timothy.
The book of Second Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1.
And we read the precept earlier when we talked about the ravishing, right? When you'll see these type of things happen, the ravishing of women, the children getting torn to pieces. Like these things is in the Bible. It doesn't sound good, but it's actually real. Y'all understand, right? It doesn't sound good that these things are gonna happen to people, but it really does. Movies show you that all the time. Y'all ever seen the Book of Eli? It's a Denzel movie, right? It was a time where it was like basically the end of the world, and they had rape packs in that movie. You know what I'm saying? They had rape packs in that movie. So like rape packs is a thing. I don't know if y'all know. Taza.
Yeah, rape happens everywhere. It's just like they try to not mention it
Okay.
nowadays. But whenever, like in Ukraine and Russia, those women are getting raped.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting raped. In the Arab countries,
Hmm.
they were getting raped by U.S. soldiers.
I'm glad you said that. In Vietnam, you think them cats was just having consensual sex with them women? No, they was going and raping these women. You think them? You think in Iraq they was having consensual sex with these women? They was raping these women. You feel me? In Vietnam, they had a bus. They had a bus of all the women who didn't kill the babies. They put the black babies on the bus because they had sex with the soldiers or the soldiers raped them. You get what I mean? They had these white babies, black babies, and they'll go put them on the bus. You know what I'm saying? And because they didn't want to take care of them. Y'all never heard of this? You look this up. They would go take the baby, put them on the bus, leave the bus there because they was getting raped. Go ahead, Taza.
It's crazy how people don't realize that that's what happens when you destroy the authority
Yeah,
of that area.
yeah.
The women are left vulnerable. They're gonna get raped.
That's the spoils of war. You know what I mean? Like when you hear the spoils of war, that's what that means. Like Israelites, they would I'm not saying Israelites never rape, but when you hear spoils or war, you go to war. Like we had a whole bunch of civil wars in the Bible, and the spoils of war would be taking a woman and cutting her hair, cutting down her nails, and that is now a concubine to a man. You get what I'm saying? That's a concubine to a man, and that would be literally like a piece of meat. You understand? Because this is the spoil of war. So now, in those countries, of course, you don't have social services. You don't have the military is at war. Then you have civilians, and when you have civilians, you don't have no one to protect the civilians. Of course, you got men out there who are having sex with each other. That's how horny they are. Having sex with each other, having homosexual sex, and having sex with anything, animals, women, whatever they can find to fulfill their lust. It's happening. And then they come home and get called heroes. Not the same.
So like I said, there's a movie. It's called Theory, and it shows you how common that rape was because they overcame a city, and like pretty much the women were so adapted to the whole rape thing that it almost looked consensual. Like they walk into their house and just they automatically start preparing their food and just getting ready for them to do whatever with them.
Yeah. That's not rape.
I mean,
Okay, like rape is a woman. It need to be screaming and fighting for her life. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
yeah.
That is what the white man calls rape because it's unwanted sex, but that is submission at that point. You get what I'm saying? But rape is a woman should fight. Like biblical rape is you got to scream. If a woman doesn't scream, that's not rape. That's in the Bible. You understand? Like you have to fight and scream So because now your husband needs to see that. Because what happens when you don't fight and scream? Go ahead.
It looks consensual.
It looks consensual, which is all the time true because women lie about being raped all the time. You get what I'm saying? So you have to make sure you fight, scream, tooth and nail. You better get beat, jaw broke. You get what I'm saying? Those things that make your case stronger. A lot of women will have consensual sex, get pregnant, punch their damn self just so they get raped. That happened before. You feel what I'm saying? So where we at right now? We good on those precepts, right? Okay, now during these times, right? During these times, this is how the Lord will protect us. Give me Revelation 6 and 6, and then give me 2nd Esdras 26 and 29. I'll show you these two precepts. All right.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 6.
Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Right. So during this madness, a lot of things happen, right? Like we didn't experience it in here. Like remember we had a board. I don't know if y'all remember, not as like you remember, we had to board up the school. Was you here another time? We had to board up the school. Remember when they had that the damn riots down the street? Yeah, we had a board in the school and the brother stayed in the school. Sawap and Ramah, give them a oh no, swear. Sawap and Ramah got in here and they was protecting the building. They had guns and all that, right? To make sure no one come and hit the school. We boarded up the school. They came through. You'll have those times happen, but nothing happened to the school. But something happened down next door to us, around the corner. It happened, but it didn't happen to us, right? So you have those times where times of trouble. And what happens when when things happen, that's when work increases. You get what I'm saying? Like when something happens where someone in the UPK, because we're so big now, someone in the UPK is in a jam. So now we can work together. Now I'm like, okay, look, not as like he's jammed and the police got him jammed up over there. You two brothers go over there, go see what's going on with him. Okay, something happened over here with Taza. Taza is jammed up over here. So y'all 3 brothers go help out Taza, make sure it happens. Now the oiled machine gets to working because when things happen to you, work increases. You understand, right? So you get calls back to back, left and right, drives to make because now you have to move. You got to move. You understand, right? So the Lord shows you, of course, and then of course, remember you had the food shortage for a little while during the COVID, right? During 2020. Remember when they was go to the store and you only could buy one thing of toilet paper? You remember that? And it was like one thing of eggs. I remember you can buy one thing of eggs and like one thing of water a day. I remember that, right? So in 2020, we do things instead to prepare. So now we got to go make sure. Commander Jimmy Hunter had been doing this since the 90s, I believe, or 80s. So he's been stacking up warehouses of food and water and stuff like that. But then when it happened to us, we like, oh damn, we got to go get us a quick pantry real quick. You get what I'm saying? So those things help you prepare, so we can prepare for bad times. But of course, the Lord says when you're with Him, He's gonna protect you. So let me get Revelation 6 and 6.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Go ahead.
And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Mm-hmm. That oil and the wine is those blacks and Hispanics, man. You understand, right? The Lord says He's always gonna protect you. He's always gonna protect you. You can go hurt everyone around them, but don't hurt them. You understand? Go ahead, sis.
Officer, I mean, with that being said, like, of course you trust in the Lord, right, and protecting you and all that.
Yeah.
Is it wrong for you to prepare for something either way?
Nah, heck no. That seems like the logical and wise thing to do, right? To make sure you got some like cash at the crib. You don't gotta have a whole bunch of cash, but at least enough to have some around, just because some systems can shut down. You get what I'm saying? And have like a bin full of food, dry goods or something. Those things are wise to do, of course, but you don't got to go build like what? Yeah, like what's that show called? The Preppers, right? What's that? Is it Preppers? Go ahead. Doomsday Preppers. Doomsday Prepper. You don't got to be like that, even though those things are good, but those people, they're just trying to survive death when they're not going to survive death. The Lord, in Joel, the 3rd chapter, the Lord talks about He's going to turn over every rock. You get what I'm saying? He's going to find you and kill you. You get what I'm saying? But But it's good to have some being like just like when we was going through that thing in 2020. It's good to have a little more toilet paper than it was before. Because damn, I guess everybody just knew they just needed some toilet paper. You get what I'm saying? It would be wise to have a gun or two. You get what I'm saying? Guns are good. Yeah, guns are good. You know what I mean? Guns are absolutely it protects you because people are crazy. You know what I'm saying? So anyone that's against guns, I mean, you can be against guns, but the Lord said that sell your purse and get you or sell your like excuse me, sell your garment and grab you a sword. That's in the Bible. You understand? So those are good too to protect your home, protect your children. Of course, like anyone would be crazy to come up against any of our brothers and sisters, but it's good to have. You understand? So you can protect other people. All right. Where we at?
Verse 7, Revelation 6 and 7.
You good? We good to go on that. The oil and the wine is you. Give me second Esdras 2:26 through 29. Taza, go ahead. On the clock. Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Taza, I'm gonna tell you, Taza, I had guns on top of guns. You know what I mean? We went to go pick up Taza. He had guns. He had guns galore. But nothing happened to him. Right or wrong? Yeah, yeah. The car was jammed up a little, but nothing illegal, right? And you had what? I think he had about like 5, 6 guns on you, or something like that. You know what I mean? But it was no problem. But of course, that's how some brothers roll. He's in the Shamar department. He's a crazy nut, so he's gonna have some guns. You know what I'm saying? Um, Let me get second Esdras 2:26.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 2, verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall be not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh.
Listen, the scripture said, "Don't be weary when a day of troubleness and heaviness come." Don't be weary. You get what I'm saying? Like we built for that in here. A lot of brothers in here are like waiting for those times. As sick as that sounds, right? They're waiting, but it shows you how close we are to the end, of course. And when you're close to the end, it kind of gives you spirit. It gives you more spiritual strength to see things unfold. So now they're like, "Oh, okay, now it's my time. This is what I've been waiting for." That's how Judites are for sure. I know Judites are like, yes, thank God I get to show my skills. You get what I'm saying? That's how they are. Go ahead.
Others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance.
You understand? I said others shall be weak and be sorrowful, but you gonna be happy and have abundance. Go ahead.
Verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee.
Who's gonna envy you?
The heathen shall envy
The
thee.
the heathen is gonna envy you. Why? Because he knows his time is at the end, and he's on a downward spiral, and you're on an upward spiral. This is one thing I've been taught since I've been in UPK. When World War III unfolds and things are happening, and this country is going to shit. Excuse my language. A lot of we in the UPK will be trending upwards. We'll be building more, having more men, having more women, having more black people come together, and Hispanic people come together with each other. Our school is going to get stronger. Our nation is going to get stronger. The Lord is going to bless us with more things and more stuff to have, more spiritual weapons, I should say. And America is going to be falling. You understand? It's going to be falling. It's going to be going to what, and that's that. You understand? And then in that, we are also going to see our king come back towards the very end. You get what I'm saying? So you're going to see the strength increase, and you're going to see them decrease. You understand? Keep going.
But they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord.
You understand? The Lord says this. They're going to be able to do nothing against you. Not a damn thing. Because their power is going to be stripped. that the Lord gave them power, first of all, to be over you, and He's gonna take their power from being over you in a second. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 29. My hands shall cover thee.
My what?
My hands shall cover
The
thee.
Lord said He's like, this is you. He's gonna put His hands over you. You get what I'm saying? You come to serve God, He's gonna protect you like this. He's gonna put His hands over you. Nothing can touch you. Nothing. Keep going.
So that thy children shall not see hell.
So your children won't see hell. They won't see that condition. They won't be children boiling water to have a drink. They won't be those children. You understand? They won't be the kids crying because they not eating. You understand, right? They won't see the hell. A lot of people have children. If you love your children, then you'll do what the Lord says so that your children won't suffer. There's gonna be children out here suffering. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 30. Be joyful, O thou mother.
So like that's it. That's end of 29, right? No sweat. So y'all get that, right? Taza, go ahead.
Is that like when the police deal with say Cap, and they really can't say anything against what we're doing as far as the law stands?
Absolutely.
So really, they just give us their personal opinion.
Yes.
And
And
we sit there like,
what you'll find is police a lot of them are not bright, right? They're not really smart. Not I ain't gonna say all of them, but a lot of them they'll come in try to push that authority. But if you give them a little pushback, they're like, well, I mean, you're right. I'm sorry. You are correct. You can have can you just tone it down? Can you just turn it down? Then it goes to that, right? Because you know why you're out there. You're only out there because you have the authority to be out there. It's the whole point. We're using our amendment to assemble. We're assembling lawfully, and we're using our amendment to speak freely. So those are two things that are lawful on our end, and we're not impeding traffic. We're not breaking any fire laws, or what's that called what's that called when the fire department says fire hazards? No fire hazards. So you know what I mean. Now, if our decimal point is too loud, we got a decimal sound and lets us know where it needs to be. So maybe it needs to be at this many hertz. Okay, no problem. We'll turn it down. Even though we're at these hertz right now, we'll turn it down a little more just for peace sake. You know what I mean? For peace sake. So no issue. But of course, they know that about us now. When you're out wherever you're at in Atlanta or Alabama, they know, hey, they know what they're talking about. We can't really do nothing. All we can do is the people that hates us has to just deal with it. They got to deal with it for 4 or 5 hours. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? So exactly, the Lord covers you in that. That's why it's important to go when you find a camp spot. It's important to what? Call the fire department, call the police department, have a relationship with the lieutenant. Let them know you're gonna be out there. He gonna let you know. They start to like you. You can start to buy these cats. Like, what do you drink, man? Let me get you this scotch right here. Got you this scotch. Now he start to tell you more things about him and what the police department likes and what they don't like, and you know what I mean. Start opening up to you. You like no problem. You can buy police. Police are bought all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's it on it. All right. But you're correct though. Absolutely. Let me get this precept. So before we go into this video, we got one more precept. I think that's it. Joel 2:20. Okay, give me Joel 2:20, and then we'll go into Daniel's breakdown. All right. We got a lot to cover on that. We're gonna go to about 9:10, and then we'll end the class. Taza, you gonna be you chilling tonight? You gonna be on the show with us? Yeah, we got One West Radio Show. You rock with us, man. You know what I'm saying? You come on the show. You hear that? It's Thursday. Brother's gonna come up we're gonna have the show a little later. Go ahead. Let's go.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
But I will remove far off from you the northern army.
Right. The Lord said he was gonna remove far off from you the northern army. Go ahead.
And will drive him into a land barren and desolate.
And the Lord said he was gonna drive him into a land barren and desolate. Right. So who's this northern army? Go ahead. America is correct, but in this time it is talking about who? We said it earlier. Go ahead. Babylon. This is Babylon. The Lord was going to drive him off. And we're going to go into, of course, Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar and all of that. Alexander the Great. We're going to go into all that right now. Give me Psalms 138 and 7. This is a precept for Joel 2 and 20. If y'all got questions online, just shoot a message on here, all right? Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 138, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Though I walk in the midst of trouble, thou wilt revive me.
You understand that? Though you walk in the what? Midst of trouble, the Lord said he is going to revive you. Go ahead.
Thou shalt stretch forth thine hands against the wrath of mine enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and thy right hand shall save me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8. The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me.
Go ahead.
Thy mercy, O Lord, endureth forever. Forsake not the works of thine own hand.
You understand that? We was in a Babylonian captivity, which was a horrible captivity for the nation of Israel at that time, man. You know what I mean? Like ridiculous. But the Lord protected the ones that served him. This is a precept what David is saying. David was going through hell, running from murder with his men. You get what I'm saying? And he was a lawful brother running on the run. You get what I'm saying? Like Christ was lawful on the run. His grandfather, which was David, his great-great-grandfather, which was David, was on the run as well. And lawfully on the run. He didn't break a law. He didn't break a law. The king at the time just wanted him dead. Go ahead, sis.
Isn't it it says, and thy right hand shall save me? What does it mean by thy right hand?
What is the right hand? Go ahead.
Usually it's the more dominant hand.
Meaning what? Young man. Oh no. When you swing in a sword, most people are right-handed dominantly. He's going to go to war and he's going to win that war because the Lord is going to give him the power to win that war. And what is war? With that sword. You get what I'm saying? So anyone that was going to come after him, he was going to win that war. You understand? That's what that is. War is the thing that is going to propel us into being on top. We're not going to, like, when we get the kingdom of heaven, I'm going to say this again in about 30 minutes. When we get the kingdom of heaven, when we are in rulership, people are going to want to, they're not going to be in subjection to wanting just to serve us for the rest of their life. They're gonna have some revolution that's gonna say we got to go kill them Israelites, and then we're gonna have to put them to death again, the war. You understand? That's what it's gonna be like. We're gonna have to subdue them through war and let them know they could never, ever go to war with us, and we're gonna have to put them to death, and that's that. How you gonna rule the world is through war, and that's how Alexander the Great ruled the world. It's through war. That's how Nebuchadnezzar ruled the world, was through a great military. The Romans, a great military. You get what I'm saying? And that's how the Most High is going to have his world to be ran under Christ, is through a great military. You understand? Tazar, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay. Absolutely. You just put a precept. Put a precept for the brother. It's in Samuel, right? And then
at this point he was on the run. He was basically the enemy of the state. He was one of the trees.
yeah, he had to roll out. He couldn't come to the high holy day because the high holy day he knew he was gonna get his head cut off because Samuel had a demon on him. Saul had a demon on him to want to kill this brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he seen that this brother was coming up. It was two things. Saul disobeyed the Most High for I think the last time, right? He done did it a few times, but that was the last straw. And then David was a better man than Saul. You understand? So that made made his spirit evil. You feel what I mean? Made his spirit evil. He started to hate on the brother. His hatred got so bad for the brother that he threw a javelin at him. You know what I mean? He started noticing things that you usually in the UPK, you want a brother the brother under you, you want to give him everything you have for so one day he can replace you and take your spot. Now you can't make someone better than you, but you would want for this brother to be better than you. You understand, right? That's how you train a brother up is by giving them everything you have, so one day he can be in your spot. You know what I mean? But you can't make a brother in your spot. He gonna have to want to be great too. You get what I'm saying? Let's read that. Not design.
So you went through the javelin?
No. Give me the one where he said, "My love surpassed." David. A lot of cats usually like to say this, and then because David undressed, right, and they say that he's homosexual. You trying to get into the homosexual aspect of it?
I was trying to get into the understanding of that type of love that is, because I know at that point, Jonathan had basically, he was saying, because Jonathan rightfully had the rulership after King Saul.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with him allowing King David to live, he basically conceded to the fact that you're gonna rule over me.
Oh yeah, okay,
My house.
but why though?
Like, why did he do it?
Mm-hmm. Why you think?
That's what I'm saying, because it said he had like the love of a woman, right? Oh, his love surpassed that of a woman.
Yeah, and it's so natural. It's so natural to love your brother more than you love your woman. You get what I mean? Like your woman, two things they provide two different things. You get what I'm saying? A woman, no one can make you feel like a man more than a woman. You get what I'm saying? But then as a brother, your number one thing in life, because of the Most High said to do, was to love thy brother as I love thyself. You get what I'm saying? That was just what it is. They are two different people. You got your imagine you got your your best friend, and you got your woman. You get what I mean? And you can have a lot of best friends. You can have three, five, 6, 10 women, right? But it just some certain brothers just click stronger than other brothers do. Go ahead, Nazar.
So I was gonna say, like, is it because John, Jonathan he believed what Samuel was saying?
No, he didn't believe was Samuel.
Come on.
Okay,
Because Samuel said that Samuel pretty much told Saul that there will
yeah,
be somebody that's gonna take your place.
yeah, and more importantly, him and David was like they was bros. You get what I'm saying? Like they was just like you know how it is. Everyone have that brother or maybe two brothers you have. That's your bro. You get what I mean? And that's how Jonathan felt about David. Let's read the precept.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 26.
Uh-huh.
I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women.
Man, why though? Because not only did Jonathan had the man, Jonathan could have turned David in. You feel me? Jonathan could have been like, man, if I get David, man, my father, I'm gonna fall in great favor with my father. My father's gonna love me, and he's gonna push me to the seat. You get what I'm saying? It's gonna give me more authority to have that seat. But instead, man, he hid David, and he looked out for David. And he said, "Damn, like I don't got no, I can't do nothing for you. But this is what I can do, man. You look like you doing bad, man. Take this, man. Put this on. You cold. You get what I'm saying? Like you cold. Like man, take this. Go get some money or go this way, and you know, just be safe, man. I'm gonna pray for you. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna protect you. I'm make sure that ain't no issue. Because remember, what did Jonathan do at the seat at the table? He made an excuse for that. He said, "Oh man, maybe he went to go see his father, and you know, maybe he over there celebrating a high holiday with them. I don't know." Then the next day, he had another excuse for him. You get what I'm saying? Like he was just looking out for him because he knew David. He knew David was a good brother. He knew David was a genuine soul. You get what I'm saying? He was like, man, he loved David. You know what I mean? He loved the brother. And he knew that his father was senile. And that's what he was literally going through. Y'all know what senile is? You look up senile. Go ahead.
Like stubborn.
Nah, it's not really. Stubbornness is in it, but it's really you're going crazy. It's a disease. Look up senile for me, Bobby. This what Saul was literally going through. It was early stages of that. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
The Merriam-Webster definition of senile,
Mm-hmm.
of relating to exhibiting or characteristic of old age,
Mm-hmm.
especially exhibiting loss of cognitive abilities such as memory, age, approaching the end of a geological cycle of the earth.
You understand? Perfect. So dementia was good. That's what he was going through. He wasn't stable. You know, Saul in his early stages was a strong brother, like an amazing warrior. If you go read the Bible, he was, you know, like a killer, straight up. Yeah, that's why he ruled. The people picked him. You know what I mean? But then as he started to get older and he started to fall into, you know, his lust, you know, he started losing his mind. He started, you know, when you just imagine you being that man, and then finally some other cat come and he that man too. You get what I'm saying? And you like, you and your like it's gonna happen to all of us one day. You're gonna see some cat like that cat is, you know, he's better than me. And you're gonna have to just give it up. And it's okay. That's what the Lord wanted. You get what I'm saying? But he wasn't ready to give that up. And then on top of that, he was going senile. He was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So Jonathan knew that. Jonathan seen that in his father, and he knew that the Lord was with David because who else can do the things that David has done? You get what I'm saying? Who else can do that? Who else can go kill 1,000 men and bring back the foreskins of them and show his king? You get what I'm saying? Like that's what David was doing. You know, who else can kill a lion and a bear? You know what I mean? When no one else is looking, and you know that happened. So David was that man, and Jonathan was his best friend, and that's just how that went. You know what I mean? So when he started to love surpass, it was because a brother. When you have a brother like that, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's you just look at him like, man, I want to be here for you, and I want to be here for you, and it's just like, hey, I got your back. You know what I'm saying? Because no one else had his back, right? Everybody else was on the run, or it's like looking for him, about to put him to death. Doeg was about to lie about putting him to death, about finding a reason to kill him, but he couldn't. That good to go, Tazan? I swear. So now let's get into it, right? Let's get into Daniel. Let's go to Daniel 2:31. Daniel 2:31. Let's read that. So we're going to break down the power structure of the kingdoms that came in Daniel's vision, right? Daniel was, if y'all don't know Daniel was the brother who was in the lion's den. Y'all heard that before, right? He was in the lion's den and nothing happened to him in that lion's den. He ended up being, I believe, the number 2 man in the Babylonian captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. I want to say number 2, but his power in that government came up because of his visions, and Nebuchadnezzar believed his visions after a time. You get what I'm saying? The three wise men are in this, I believe, in the same book, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on Daniel's vision. All right, let's get Daniel 2:31 through 33.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 31.
Go ahead.
Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image.
Mm-hmm.
This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
So imagine a statue. So what David is, what Daniel is seeing as a statue in his vision. Now he's expressing his vision to the king Nebuchadnezzar. If you look up Nebuchadnezzar in the history in your Google, right? This is the Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar. There was a couple of Nebuchadnezzars though. Just look up Nebuchadnezzar real quick if you could of Babylon. Go ahead.
Verse 32. This image's head was of fine gold.
So the image's head was of fine gold. Go ahead.
His breast and his arms of silver.
His breast and his arms of silver. Go ahead.
His belly and his thighs of brass.
His belly and his thighs of brass. This is important. We're going to go back to this. I'm going to break this down. Go ahead.
His legs of iron.
His legs of iron. Go ahead.
His feet part of iron and part of clay.
His feet, it was part iron, part clay. So just remember this, right? What verse you at?
Verse 34.
Okay, stop right there, right? Let me get Daniel 7:3. The clay and the iron is significant because that kingdom will be divided. We're going to come back to that as well. All right. Let's get Daniel 7:3.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 3.
So we're going to break it down, right? The statue had 5 parts. The statue that we just talked about had 5 parts. Now, it's not an actual statue, but this is the vision of Daniel. And I'm trying to give you the mindset of seeing a statue. The statue had the head, right? Rested arms, belly and thighs, and feet. So it had 5 parts. You understand, right? And this is a vision that he's getting. Go ahead.
Book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
4 great beasts came up from the sea. They were diverse one from another. Go ahead.
Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked.
Listen, hold on. The first had what again?
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof.
Stop right there. What empire is this? A winged lion. Anybody know? Tazar. Not the Greeks. Sis. Not the Chinese. Go ahead.
The wings with the lion, is that the Roman?
Not the Romans, no. It's the Assyrian. Always remember this, right? It's the Assyrian Empire. So when you see the winged lion, that's the Assyrian Empire. Go ahead.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked.
And let me give you a little more, right? The head of the Assyrian Empire was Babylon after Nebuchadnezzar. You know what I mean? So Nebuchadnezzar is the gold head. That's the gold head. When you say that, which is he was ruler over Babylon. You understand, right? So Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon are the same, but when Nebuchadnezzar died, Babylon was not the same. Y'all understand? Let me break it down. So when Nebuchadnezzar was in charge of Babylon, it was, powerful, amazing military. When Nebuchadnezzar died, Babylon was not the same. That's why we're saying Nebuchadnezzar is the gold head. Y'all understand? Y'all get what I'm saying though? Tazar. No. Babylon is okay. Babylon is it's like a lot of nations. You know what I'm saying? Babylon was a whole bunch of nations. Like we'll get into it in a little bit. Alexander the Great was a Greek, but he became Babylon in culture. You get what I'm saying? Like he took on the culture of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar, I believe, was Persian though. I believe so. Okay. Yeah, okay. Persian and Medes is also a monarchy, right? So meaning it was different nations into one. You feel what I'm saying? Mostly. No. Babylon was Africans as well. It was, a whole bunch of other nations, Egyptians. You feel what I'm saying? It was all them. That was Babylon. That's why America is the daughter of Babylon, because it's also a melting pot. But when you think about the Persian Medes, think about, or it's like when you think about the Persian Medes, think about a monarchy. Monarchy meaning more than one Middle Eastern people. You feel what I'm saying? At the top.
So this is all in the same area.
Yes.
Is that why Greek and the Romans all conquered about the same area?
Yeah, and we're gonna get
So Babylon and Greek and Roman.
we're gonna get into it too. We're gonna get into it. I'm just getting started with this one. So where we at right now, right? 7 and 3?
7 and 4 now, sir.
Read 4.
Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked.
Right. So now Daniel is talking about this vision he's having, and the winged lion he's seen is the Assyrian Empire. If you go look up the winged lion, you'll see the Assyrian Empire. Go ahead.
And it was lifted up from the earth.
And
made stand upon the feet as a man.
Go ahead.
And a man's heart was given to it.
Because why? Because at one time when Nebuchadnezzar was in charge, it was militant might. But then when Nebuchadnezzar died, right, after Babylon became the Assyrian captivity. The Assyrian captivity was not as strong at all. You understand? They were not like that. And they were given a man's heart. What is a man's heart? Go ahead.
Like his devotion, like his interest.
No. Think about a God's heart. What is a God's heart like?
Is it like
Tazar. Whose heart? Nah, yeah. Okay. When the scriptures say it was given a man's heart, just think like it was giving the ability to be scared. And that was this. He was given a man's heart, meaning he was giving the ability to be scared. Now, before he didn't have that ability. He was not scared. He ruled the damn earth. You get what I'm saying? And then when the Assyrian came, they were not as militant. They were not as strong. They didn't rule with an iron fist like Nebuchadnezzar did. You understand? That's what that's talking about. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And behold, another beast. And a man's heart was given to it.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
Like onto the what?
A second like to a bear.
Mm-hmm.
And it raised up itself on one side.
Right. So now this bear is who? Tazai. That's the Persian and the Medes, right? Perfect. So the Persian and Medes is Persians, another Middle Eastern place, right? The Medes is, of course, people that are close to Persia. You understand? So the people that are around Persia is the Medes. Persia, Medes, right? What is Kim Kardashian? What is she? No, it's damn it. Sis. Armenian. Those are the Persian and the Medes. I'm about 90% sure those are Persian and Medes. All right? No sweat. Go ahead. Use that the bear.
And it raised up itself on one side,
Mm-hmm.
and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it.
What does the 3 ribs represent in the bear's mouth? Anyone know? No sweat. Death and destruction. They was going to devour flesh, kill many men. This is after Assyrian. So you had Nebuchadnezzar, which is Babylon. Then you had the Assyrian captivity. And then you had the Persian and the Medes. And those 3 ribs represent death and destruction. Devouring of flesh, meaning the killing of men. And they was killers. You understand? Keep going.
Between the teeth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another.
And lo, another. Go ahead. So now he talked about the Nebuchadnezzar, the Assyrians, the Persian and the Medes, and now he's talking about another one. Go ahead.
Like a leopard.
Like a what?
Like a leopard.
Like a leopard. Go ahead.
Which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
Now this leopard had on his back 4 wings of a fowl, of a bird. Go ahead.
Which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
Mm-hmm.
The beast had also 4 heads.
Go ahead.
And dominion was given to it. After this,
and the beast had 4 heads. And what was given to it?
And dominion was given to it.
And rulership was given to it. Go ahead.
After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast.
Hold on. Go ahead, Salaki.
Dreadful and terrible.
Dreadful and terrible. Go ahead.
And strong exceedingly.
And strong exceedingly. Go ahead.
And it had great iron teeth.
And it had great iron teeth. Go ahead.
It devoured and brake in pieces.
It devoured and broke in pieces. Now, we went and talked about, let me go up on my notes 1 second. We want to talk about all these nations, right? This one was the coldest, though. And who is this? Go ahead.
Alexander the Great.
This is Alexander the Great. This is Alexander the Great, right? Go ahead.
So like, who was the leopard?
Alexander.
Oh, he's also
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah, he's the leopard. Alexander the Great. Remember, there was a time where there was Nebuchadnezzar, the Assyrian captivity, and then there was the Persian and the Medes, and then Alexander the Great was the most powerful of them all. You understand? Go ahead, sis. That's 4. We got 1 more. So he was the most powerful of them all. Remember, he ruled from damn Egypt to Turkey, which was Asia Minor. You understand? He ruled the whole damn place. And those 4 heads, those represent the 4 generals he had under his authority. We're gonna get into that in a second as well. All right. Those 4 heads. Go ahead.
From
So he's the iron. You understand? He's the iron. When we went back earlier, we said the gold, silver, and then we went to brass and iron, and then we went to iron and clay, right? So in order, those are the orders of it, but that's not the power of the metals. The power of the metals is, I think it's gold. I think it's iron, then gold, and then silver, and then brass, and then iron and clay. That's how it would go by value. You understand? Because iron is, is going to beat you down, beat you up. You can't do nothing about that. You understand? The gold was Nebuchadnezzar because he was probably the wisest and most powerful, and he ruled the longest. This cat only ruled for 12 years, I believe. You understand? Keep going.
it devoured and brake in pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Right. It was diverse from all the beasts that was before it, because this cat will blow some man's rod and go to war right after. You understand? He was disgusting. He was a homosexual. He was a pansexual. Y'all heard of that before? Go ahead.
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great, yes. You know what a pansexual is? What is it? Yeah, you can have sex with anything. You're attracted to, cows. You know what I mean? And men, and little boys, and women, and your sister. You get what I'm saying? That's a pansexual. And that's what he was, but he was the most military killing person in history to this day. You understand? Any more? What verse you at?
I'm on verse 7.
Okay, keep going.
And it had 10 horns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on verse 8
Now, okay, so remember the 10 horns. So now we'll come back to that. Now, drop that, right? Give me First Maccabees 1:1. First Maccabees 1:1. Hey, hold on real quick, Akim. Akwathium.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian.
Nazak, if you could. Read again from the top, Salaki.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1.
So now we're still talking about Alexander the Great. You understand? We're still on Alexander the Great. And it's good to do some little history on him. I did some brief history. Of course, you can find everything on Google. Of course, check your sources of it as well. All right. Go ahead.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim and smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes.
Right. So now listen to this. It talks about Alexander the Great and him being a Macedonian, which is in history. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk about history, the Bible is history. The Bible will show you all the history. He is the son of Philip. The son of Philip is of Alexander the Great, right? And he wanted to go slay Darius. Darius was the man that was in charge before him. Y'all understand? Go ahead. Which was a Greek, I believe. Go ahead.
That he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds,
Uh-huh.
and slew the kings of the earth.
He slew the kings of the earth. What verse you at?
Verse 3 now.
Go ahead.
And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him.
Stop right there. He took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him. So now I'm gonna break this down. Give me Daniel, the 2nd chapter and the 43rd verse.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 43.
Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay.
So you seen the iron mixed with merry clay. So okay, I'll give you an example. Iron and clay. When it says the feet was iron and clay, after Alexander the Great had his 4 generals, right? His 4 generals would split up the land he was over, right? Yeah, one going to Egypt, one Rome. You get what I'm saying? They was all over 2 other places, right? They split up the power, but someone was powerful, like Rome, and the rest was not as powerful. That's why they would be called clay. You get what I'm saying? So some was iron, some was clay. Some was strong, some was weak. In other words, right? So now read it from the top up, Gisha.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 43.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay.
Right, you seen iron mixed with merry clay. Merry means muddy clay. You seen the iron mixed with the muddy clay. Go ahead.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
They're gonna mingle themselves with the seed of men. And let me break that down in a second. Keep going.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
So they wasn't gonna cleave one to another. When it says they should go mingle themselves with the seed of men, meaning this: when Alexander the Great went to go conquer Egypt, you know what he started calling himself? Egyptian. Give me more specific. What you're correct. Give me more specific. Who's in power in Egypt? Tazai. Who's in power? Say it. You better say it. Pharaoh. He started calling himself Pharaoh. You understand? When he started calling himself Cyrus. You think I'm joking? This is serious. When you see Egyptians, do you know there's white Egyptians today? Yeah, there's white. That's them. That comes from him. When you seen the gods of Egypt, you remember that movie, The Gods of Egypt? You know what I'm talking about, Tazza? They had a movie called The Gods of Egypt. It was white men. You understand? So when they went to go mix themselves with the seed of men, that's what that means. He went to go be an Egyptian. He went to go be Cyrus. You know who Cyrus is? Tazza. Nah. Cyrus is an Egyptian god. He's an Egyptian god whose father is Ra and mother is Isis. And a lot of pharaohs would call themselves one of the Egyptian gods. You understand? He called himself Cyrus. He's a white man, a Greek. You understand? Like Cleopatra is a white woman who was Egyptian. That's the whole thing. Which, of course, we've been saying since forever, which is what? The white man is a culture vulture. He's been doing this. He's been this way forever. Y'all understand, right? So when he says mix the seed with men, that's what it's talking about. When he went to go conquer Babylon, what did he become? I said earlier, what did he become? A Babylonian in culture. That's what he became. He wasn't of that nation, but he became those people because he's a vagabond. The scriptures say that about a white man, him being a vagabond, meaning a fugitive of the earth. You understand? Come down.
That's what we call it in the truth service, it'll be like the mark of Cain.
Absolutely. The mark of Cain, right? That's what he is, right? He's a culture thief, right? So that's what that means with the mix of the seed. So now go back to 2 and 43, read it again.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Right. So now you'll have this, and you know what Egyptians believe, right? Which would one thing Alexander the Great picked up what Egyptians did in history. They would listen. Egyptians in culture, right? In culture, they build a pyramid. Having a pyramid is a big coffin, right? Pyramid is a big coffin, and when they die, guess who else got to die? Coming up. Right. Go ahead. Yeah, they cats. They gotta mummify the cats. So when the pharaoh died, like, all right, y'all know what it is. Servants got to die too. And guess who else got to die? Come on.
So like I was gonna say that like they have to sacrifice certain that Pharaoh.
Huh?
They have to sacrifice certain the Pharaoh.
Yeah, but I'm saying who else got to die though? Young man.
Their wives?
Their wives. This out. Yeah, but who else?
The army.
Nah, okay, not their army. You could be right, but I'm not sure about the army. You could be right. So like,
So like I was gonna say, everybody basically everybody under.
okay, yeah, the virgins. They had to go kill the virgins so they can enjoy the virgins in the afterlife. It's like this is real. This is a real thing. So they Egyptians believe that life starts when you die, which is who else believes that? Go ahead. Yeah, the Christian church believes that. They believe that you got to go to heaven. That's when life actually starts. That's when you start winning is in heaven. You get what I'm saying? They don't believe in life and prosperity right here and gaining anything on and while you're living. They believe you have to die first to gain anything. You get what I'm saying? And that's the culture of the Egyptians. That is not our culture. Y'all understand? The scriptures say that we have Paul said about Christ that he's the administration of life, not the administration of death. You get what I'm saying? Once you die, that's it. That's over with. We got to focus on people who's alive. You understand? Solid. This brother calling me again. Let me call him out there. So now let's move on, right? So we had 2 and 43. Read from the top and read it again.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Go ahead.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
And they shall not cleave one to another. They was going to mix themselves with the seed of men, but they was not going to cleave one to another. This is talking about those generals as well. Those generals that we can look them up. The 4 generals under Alexander the Great. Look them up on your own time. They separated. They split up, and they split up the kingdom. They started to hate each other. They did not deal with each other anymore after Alexander the Great died. They went and did their own thing. Y'all understand, right? They went and did their own thing, and that was it. They split up. And that was done. They didn't cleave on to each other like they were. Some theories say that they poisoned Alexander the Great. They came together and poisoned him. Got him out of there. How's that? Ptolemy was absolutely one of them. It was 3 other ones. Ptolemy, I believe, was the most famous one. Yeah, famous. I think it's the strongest and famous one, right? Whoever ruled over Rome was the one that ruled over us. You understand? Of course, we was in other countries as well, but most of us were in what you would call, Asia Minor, which was Turkey, Cyprus, Antioch, all those places that was encompassing Rome, the Roman Empire. Go ahead. Nah, just look. If you could just look it up. I don't want to say anything wrong or right. You just look them up. Yeah, I mean, well, the one that was in Rome was for sure us, and they ruled in Egypt, which we were there too. You know what I'm saying? Just look those up. All right. All right. So what verse you at?
Finish in verse 43.
Okay, keep going.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay, they didn't mix no more. They didn't mix. They were under the power of Alexander the Great, but they weren't mixing together. I mean, it's like they were mixed because some of them were iron, some of them were clay, but they didn't come together. Y'all understand? All right. Solid. Any more? No, go back to verse. Go back to where was we at in Apocrypha? Yeah, go to 1 and 4 now.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries.
Go ahead.
And nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
You understand? That's what he did. He gathered a mighty strong host. And these kings surrendered under him. You understand? They gave it up. They knew his military might. They didn't want no parts of it because he was cruel. He was cruel, and he created cruel rulers. One of the cruel creators that he got was Antiochus Epiphanes, and this is a cat who did Israelites horribly in Aquatium. This cat cut off our hands, made us eat pork, ridiculous nonsense. You understand? This is the time of the Maccabees. Y'all remember the time of the Maccabees with Mattathias and all that, right? This is that time. Go ahead. I mean, are we not together? You know what I'm saying? The scripture said that blacks and Hispanics are oppressed together.
Right.
I mean, Israel and the house of Judah are oppressed together. That's the truth. But absolutely, you gonna go read up on that, Cat. In verse, I believe 10 or 11, it goes into Antiochus Epiphany. He's ridiculous. You understand, right? You could drop that out. Now let's go back to Daniel 2 and 31.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
Right. So this is, of course, going back to the statue again. Remember the face of the statue: the gold, the silver, the brass, the iron and clay. This is Nebuchadnezzar, the Assyrian Empire, the Persian and the Medes, Alexander the Great, and then the four generals. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 32. This image's head was of fine gold,
Mm-hmm.
his breast and his arms of silver,
Go ahead.
his belly and his thighs of brass,
Go ahead.
his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay.
Of course, what we just said. Keep going.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands,
Mm-hmm.
which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay,
Go ahead.
and break them to pieces.
He broke what to pieces? Read it again.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay,
Go ahead.
and break them to pieces.
Go ahead.
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together,
Mm-hmm. So now this is talking about what the Lord is going to do. Keep going.
and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain
Mm-hmm.
that filled the whole earth.
What verse you at?
Verse 36.
Okay, solid. Now drop me to Daniel 2 and 44. This is talking about what was going to happen. They was going to be gone. They had great military might. They was there. They was in power, and they was going to be gone. It was going to be done. You understand? Matter of fact, keep reading. Keep reading. It's going to get you to the 10 horns, right? Go ahead. Go ahead, Commodore.
So, when it says, and the stone that smote the image, like that's speaking about the Most High, right?
Yeah, the Lord. What the Lord is going to do to them.
So, like to understand, like when it says smote the image became a great mountain,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean? A great mountain.
The great mountains always mean like government, right? They mean government, or you see mountain or hills. They mean government, right? Go ahead.
After the Most High power destroys it,
Mm-hmm.
like our government is gonna become great. Like Latinos.
Okay, think about it like this, right? This is not talking about actual government right here. This is talking about you becoming like rocks. You know what I mean? You're becoming like a part of a mountain. This ain't talking metaphorically. This ain't talking like and he smote them and they became, a great government. No, it's talking about like they became rocks and dirt. On them. You know what I'm saying? Like they became gravel. The Lord took them out. They're done. You know what I mean? Keep going. We're gonna read it. Just keep going all the way to 244. All right.
Verse 36.
Mm-hmm.
This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
Go ahead.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom.
Right, the Lord, he's saying, man, the Lord gave you this kingdom. You the king, for sure. The Lord gave you this power. Keep going.
Hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory.
Mm-hmm.
And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hands,
Go ahead.
and hath made thee ruler over them all.
Mm-hmm.
Thou art this head of gold. Verse 39.
He's talking to Nebuchadnezzar. He's telling him, you are the head of the gold. This is you. Go ahead.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee,
Inferior, meaning not as great as yours. Go ahead.
and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Mm-hmm. And that was the Persian and the Medes. Go ahead.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things.
So now, when you talk about that breaking the pieces again, Darius was ruler over all this. He was ruler over the kingdoms, and Alexander the Great broke him into pieces. Literally saying this, he killed him, subdued him, and then broke up his powers to those four generals. You understand? He broke up his power. He had absolute power. We put those generals over those places. You get what I mean? He killed Darius, subdued him. He's done with. Now he took the power and then got more land. Right? Keep going.
And as iron that breaketh all these,
Mhm.
shall it break in pieces and bruise. Verse 41.
Go ahead.
Whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron.
Go ahead. Now jump to the 44.
Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
You understand? So now he's talking about our kingdom. You get what I mean? He broke down all these kingdoms that's going to come before us, and then he's going to talk about our kingdom. Of course, I didn't get into the 10 horns, which is another part of the precepts, of course, where you get those horns. Is that actually in 43, verse 43, or 42? It might be in Daniel 7:7. We might go there. We're gonna go there next. You don't see no 10 horns right there, do you? No, sir. It's Daniel 7:7, right? Solid. We'll go into that next. Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. Once we get the kingdom, we have a kingdom that's going to be everlasting and never can be broken. And it's never going to be given to anyone else. Because what we're going to do, what we said earlier, we're going to go to war all the time, every time, all day, every day. That's just how it's going to be ran. Y'all understand, right? So, like, no one says, like, this is Jeremiah, and of course, gave me this breakdown, right? No one ever is going to say, okay, well, I don't feel like fighting anymore. So that's that. No, there's gonna be revolts. There's gonna be people that want to come fight against us, and we're just gonna have to put them to death. That's how that goes. Through war. Everything is through war. How did Alexander the Great have this mighty kingdom? Through war. How did Nebuchadnezzar have it? Through war. How did the Persian and Medes have it? Through war. The Syrians through war. You understand that? The Roman Empire through war. The Roman Empire's military might was insane. Yeah, like I'm talking like revolutionary, because what did they have? They had horses, they had chariots, and on their horses they had what's that called? They had what do you call on what do you put on horses in the military? You see the movies. Go ahead, Nazar.
Like for like a combative type of way?
Yes. You know what I'm talking about? They put armor. There you go. They put armor on the horses. Yeah, they put like having armor on the horses, and that's like having a jet. You get what I'm saying? Like you having a jet back in those days. It's having a jet when you see a horse coming down with a weapon right here on his nose and a breastplate, and you know strong. I'm talking about what's those big strong horses? Clydesdale, and you seeing the cat on top of it with armor. Armor was compared to no one had armor. You get what I'm saying? Not to that level. So they had armor that will come through and just look, and you'll look like, how am I supposed to penetrate that? You get what I'm saying? With this, oh, we're gonna die. That was their military might, and it was scary as hell, and that's why they ruled the way they ruled. Tazar. Can you explain? I don't know what that is. What Connie Corso?
The Italian masters.
The big dogs. Come on. You see what I'm saying though?
They're famous to this day because they seen how they got down.
I mean, I'm saying though, you talk about the Roman military. I mean, it was insane. You're talking about, and we just talking about the horses. We're not talking about the men who came out there with shin guards, breastplates, girdles full of metal. How you gonna kill that? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna kill you before you kill them. Go ahead. I'm not sure. We talking about the V?
It's like the formation that they formed to where each man guarded a part of their body, and like they were pushed forward, and it was like the battle formation was just too Trump tight.
That is adopted. That was adopted. I know what you're talking about. That was adopted. I talked about it before. If you go watch Braveheart, you seen Braveheart before? Braveheart, that is adopted from black people. That's adopted from centurions that were, in those type of in that when you're in a arena and you have to go fight off lions and fight off many men, you got 3, 4 brothers around you. That's adopted from them. You get what I'm saying? That is stolen, like they stole every damn thing. You get what I mean? They stole everything. You get what I'm saying? You think they made that formation? Nah, we made that formation. I heard of that before. You know what I'm saying? When you said it didn't sound familiar, but I heard that from that science before, I should say. Right? Go ahead.
The white man military, Green Berets, they got a tattoo when you become a Green Beret,
Mm-hmm.
and it's some type of image that pays respect to the Native Indians because they taught them guerrilla warfare.
Come on.
It's like some type of image on their tattoo.
Come on.
Pays homage to.
Come on.
And I'm like, damn,
I mean, they got missiles called the Tomahawk. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like they love you after they kill you, for sure. After they kill you, now they can pay all the respect they want to. You know what I'm saying? But they got to kill you first to understand you. After that's how they are. Read that for me, out.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people,
Mm-hmm.
but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Now, solid. Give me Daniel 7:7. You see that, right? You should stand forever. That is the nation of Israel. It's the last precept we're going to pull for the night, all right? Go ahead. Daniel 7:7.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly.
Go ahead.
And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces.
Go ahead.
And stamped the residue with the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
It was diverse from all the beasts that was before. Go ahead.
And it had 10 horns.
It had what? How many
It
horns?
has 10 horns.
Go ahead.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man.
There you go. Stop right there. Those 10 horns are 10 different Edomite nations. You understand? Those are 10 different Edomite nations. Next week, I'll get the nations for you. I know it's Dutch, Poland, Australia, I believe. It's so many, right? We'll get to those, but that gives more of the vision and all that. That was the next one that was coming up. Y'all understand, right? Good to go. Any questions off the topic? Solid? Comment out, you solid? All right, with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest Officer Natazat.
Israel, Elijah, sorry face the teacher. Give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Man of Israel, my spot. I'm Misham, Barak. Sorry face the sister. Give a courtesy salute to the sister. Man of Israel, my spot. I'm Misham, Barak.
Yahweh Shemar,